Okay, WikiLeaks released thousands of documents about Hillary Clinton last week. One news headline read, quote, "Newest WikiLeaks email dump proves DNC officials colluded to secure Clinton nomination." The emails also showed that Hillary had significant influence on the mainstream media. I know you're as shocked as I am, Charles. This really came out of nowhere and blindsided us.
I'm completely horrified. I don't know what to do. I may not be able to go to bed ever.
Do you think the American people are so used to Hillary's scandals that these incidents simply don't impact public opinion anymore?
Well, for one thing, Hillary, she didn't coin the motto, but it could be applied to her, "Don't hate me because I'm beautiful." And I think her beauty is a large part of her hold over the media. Like Marilyn Monroe. All right, I'm lying. Never mind. But, no, I think that there is a certain amount of truth to that. I mean, we've been so used to the Clintons as a pair being sleazy that, okay, she's sleazy. And, it's like finding out that Julia Child liked cooking. Yeah? Wow, really? Julia Child, you mean the cooking, she enjoyed doing it? Wow! This is a revelation. Well, similarly with Miss Hillary, I mean, of course she colluded. Why would this shock anyone? The only thing is that here you've got proof. Now, Julian Assange claims that his next burst of releases are going to end with Hillary being indicted. Now, I don't know if that's true. Because as we've seen, even if there's proof of criminal wrongdoing on her part, that is not necessarily, as it would be for you or me, a ticket to the who's gown. And see, the other thing, too, if she is elected president, this stuff is going to keep on coming out. What kind of a president is she going to be? She's constantly going to have this stuff thrown at her. If she has a Republican majority in either house, she's going to get a regular diet of this stuff. What can I tell you? I mean, they do say we get the leadership we deserve. So at least we know with Trump and Hillary, that'll certainly happen. That's a comfort.
I thought it was kind of funny. The Democrats asked WikiLeaks and Assange to release the subsequent documents now, so it doesn't impact the election as much.
No, yeah, and the fact that they have to ask, I mean, it just, I'm sorry. We are in cloud bloody cuckoo land. It just, words almost fail one. I say almost. These people, this public life has become an utter circus. And the thing is, when you look at Hillary, you look at Trump, do you realize neither of them could have been elected dog catcher 30 years ago? And yet they're all we have. And no one seems to see that this is a problem. Okay, I get it. We were never a very intellectual country, all right? We always prized action over thought. It's what made us such a powerful nation. But when did stupidity become a virtue? When did sheer dishonesty become a laudable character trait? I felt very sorry for Hillary in the election of 2008. She'd gone through all those years of playing second fiddle to Uncle Bill, and she gets upstaged by this maiden senator, a product of the Daily Machine in Chicago. Who could vote for such a man? Twice! So, we really, as the old black ministers used to say, we really got to get our mind right, because our minds are all messed up. They really are. Mrs. Obama got up at the Democratic National Convention, gave the very best speech that anyone had there, which also tells you something. Shows you, it's like being the tallest pygmy. But she said she remembered that every night she went to bed in a house built by slaves. What an incredibly ungrateful remark that is. You know, every day I have to speak the language of my conquerors. Because my ancestors were defeated by General Wolfe at the Plains of Abraham, I have to speak English all the time. Yeah, but Charles, you make your living out of speaking and writing English. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
My ancestors were defeated by the British at the Plains of Abraham. We lost that war. And ever since, if we wanted to make it down here, and even in Canada, we had to learn English. And all my income comes from being able to speak and read and write English well, which I am grateful for. But can you imagine what a moron I would be if I went around constantly yapping about having to speak your dog language because your father's defeated mine? What would I come across as? To me, the fact that there is a black president, well, anyway, a black first lady, and Mr. Obama, of course, is half real African and half white, so he's not really a black in a cultural sense.
Mm-hmm.
But that they should be living in the White House built by slaves, to me is a mark of how far we've come. Not something to be snide about. I mean, you know, whenever we think about the whole ordeal of slavery and the horrors of slavery, we have to remember that it was the minor kings of West Africa that sold the blacks into slavery. If there are reparations or compensations to be sought, their descendants are still sitting on their stools.
That's true.
Yeah. Of course, they don't have a great deal of money, but maybe it could be taken out of the local governments. I don't know. Anyway, what I'm saying with all of this is that we are a country where that kind of comment gets traction. As I say, if I said, oh, look at me, I have to speak your language because of the defeat of my ancestors, and I demand special compensation for it, special consideration, you'd say I was an idiot. You'd say, look at where you are. Look at what you've done with your life. And all because of your command of English. You've got nothing to be yapping about. And you'd be right. But a country that is this far from reality, I tell you, anything is possible. And not in a good way.
Yeah.
Not in a good way. You know, any man can grow up to be Hitler. Oh, that's great. So I'm sorry if I'm getting a little bit hysterical, but it's a little bit like going to the circus and wondering why nothing makes sense. You know, or going to a sideshow and saying, gee, well, look, there are a lot of abnormal-looking people here. Well, yeah. And then turning around and pretending it's not a sideshow. Oh, no, this isn't a sideshow. This is a symposium on pre-Socratic thought. No, it's not. It's a sideshow. So at any rate, I drivel, but I think I've been driven to drivel.
Yes, absolutely.